Celtics come up short in an overtime thriller against the Houston Rockets here Saturday night at TD Garden. Mike Petraglia along with Josue Pavone. For the second time in 6 days, the Celtics lose a heartbreaker to a Western Conference power, this time on the parquet in Boston. Josue, Jaylen Brown came up with a miracle at the end of regulation, a three-pointer that tied it, sent it to overtime. But the Celtics went dry for the final 2:38. They couldn't score, and James Harden's free throws with 23 seconds left, the difference.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he was able to get to the free throw line, Trags. I also think that the Houston Rockets were physically just over the top when it came to the Celtics trying to match that intensity. And when it came to getting those fouls, James Harden is good at doing that. And I just think it did make the difference. Celtics did have an opportunity to still win down the stretch. I like that look that Jaylen Brown got. Unfortunately, it didn't go win. And by the time that the offensive rebound was grabbed, time expired. It was unfortunate. Celtics really fought at the end, but I just think that the Houston Rockets really deserved this one.
You know, one thing that was interesting, Jaylen Brown told us in the Celtics locker room afterward, was we did a good job on James Harden. He only had 21 points, considering what he's done the last 2 years here in Boston on rocket trips to the parquet and to TD Garden. But they forgot about the other MVP in the room, and that would be one Russell Westbrook. He had 41 points to lead all scorers.
What a game, from him just attacking constantly to hitting big shots. I mean, it made all the difference. And I think that the Houston Rockets did a really good job of forcing the Celtics to play iso ball. And I think that's when things really started to fall apart. That third quarter was obviously the biggest difference, a huge difference maker. The Houston Rockets looked like a completely different team coming out of the break. But I think the Celtics sort of fell into that. They fell into the trap that the Rockets wanted them to fall into. They were taking a lot of three-pointers, especially in that fourth quarter, which they didn't find the bottom of the rim most of the time. But again, that iso ball really crushed the Celtics. That's exactly what the Rockets want you to do, and that's exactly what happened. The Celtics still had a chance to fight at the end. Huge shot from Jaylen Brown. What a three-pointer, to get this place going, to get that momentum going into the extra period, going into overtime. But I just think the Rockets, again, continue to match that physicality against the Celtics, and they came out with the win.
So Mark D'Amico of Celtics.com, I want to give him a hat tip here. We're going to talk about the bench and how the bench of the Celtics only had 4 points all night long, including overtime. 2 points by Grant Williams, 2 points by Brad Wanamaker. But it was Grant Williams, one of 3 Celtics with a positive plus-minus. He had a +10 in his time here for the Celtics. But 4 points off the bench, that's just not going to cut it. Granted, Kemba Walker is close to returning, and Marcus Smart will likely go back to the bench. But you got to get more production offensively out of the bench.
I just think this is what's going to happen when you're going against top-tier teams like the Houston Rockets, Drags. I mean, you're looking at a team, again, this is a top-heavy squad. We know their starting lineup can match up with any other starting lineup in the NBA. But when you have to rely on, maybe not rely is not the right word. When you are in a situation where you need your second unit to step up offensively, this just isn't the unit for that. Let's face it. Of course, you're going to get some points here and there from Brad Wanamaker. We've seen what Grant Williams can do from not only behind the arc, but when he's really physical down low and he can, get buckets here and there. But you don't really have that go-to guy to put up points. Not even Marcus Smart is that guy. Even when he is back to his secondary role, he can put up points in bunches, but you just don't have that guy who can really carry a second unit. What the second unit needs to do is just continue to do what they do defensively. But against a team like the Houston Rockets, they're a bit exposed. It was tough for them to keep up. You see Brad Stevens having to go about 9 guys deep, but there's a lot of the times he keeps at least 1 or 2 starters within those second unit. There's a reason for that, and I just think this is going to continue to happen unless this team is at full strength, when they're completely healthy. You got Marcus Smart coming off the bench, but you're going to need someone to step up here offensively, whether it's, again, Brad Wanamaker coming up with some points, maybe Shemi Ojeleye can hit a couple of threes down the stretch. I thought he did a really good job defensively, especially cleaning the glass as well. But when we're talking about getting points off that second unit, it's going to be really tough for Brad Stevens moving forward when you're playing against top-tier teams.
All right, Jaylen Brown, 32 points. Marcus Smart, 26 points, starting in place of Kemba Walker for the 5th straight game, and 21 points for Jaylen Brown, including the game-tying three-pointer at the end of regulation. Not enough, as the Celtics fall by a point in overtime to the Houston Rockets. This Garden Report is brought to you by the Menlo Club. Go to menlohouse.com/club and use that promo code GARDEN for your first package, your first monthly package for only $25. That is a great deal for personalized care for all men. That's over 50% off. Go to the menlohouse.com/club and use that promo code GARDEN for over 50% off your first monthly order. Inside TD Garden, he's Josue Pavone. I'm Mike Petraglia, CLNS Media.